Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. My name is Natasha, and today I'm going to be talking about why I am not going to move back to Tulum. For those of you who are aware, I was living in Tulum for 3 months between Tulum and Playa del Carmen, and I recently moved back to Austin, where I am right now. And I wanted to make this video to explain a little bit about what it was really like living in Tulum if you're planning on moving there, going there for a holiday, what obstacles I faced, and what people don't talk about. Because I feel like Tulum is this city and this hot spot right now that everyone is just like, Tulum, Tulum, Tulum. It's so beautiful, it's so magical, which it is. And I want to preface this video by saying that I absolutely love Tulum. I love the nature, the beauty, the people, the experiences I had were life-changing, and I would not take back living there for anything. And I had the most incredible time, but there are a handful of reasons that deter me from moving there or from staying longer when I was there, because it definitely did take a toll on me. And as you can see, if you've been watching my Tulum vlogs and my other videos from Tulum, what my experience was like. And also I want to segue into my next point is that if you do have a lot of questions or need help planning a trip, whether it be to Tulum, to Spain, teaching English abroad, whatever it is, because I do have a lot of videos on how to teach English in Spain as well, but I can help you plan your vacations, give you a lot of advice, also cultural advice and whatnot. I actually set up a Calendly, so you can book time with me on my calendar through that link, and I'll leave it down in the description as well. So make sure you go check that out. Of course, give this video a big thumbs up if you haven't already. I don't know why you would not have done it. It's already been 3 minutes. And follow me on Instagram, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any of my other videos. I do have more Tulum vlogs coming up too. Let's get right into it. So my first reason for not moving back to Tulum is practicality. I work full time, as you guys probably know from my videos, and working 8 to 5, it's not 9 to 5, it's 8 to 5. If you guys work 8 to 5, you know that. So working 8 to 5 in Tulum was a struggle, as you guys have probably seen in my videos. The Wi-Fi was non-existent for the most part, especially where I lived in La Villeta and in my apartment especially. There were a lot of issues I had with work, connecting to work. Construction in La Villeta is constant. It is a new area. It's the newer area of Tulum that they're building. So all the buildings are sprouting up. Construction starts at around 5 a.m. and doesn't end until about 6 p.m. or 7 sometimes. So that was definitely a problem for my work and just my overall mental state, because it was extremely noisy. Noise pollution is a real thing, and I would wake up to construction every day and be hearing and feeling my walls shaking from construction and drilling and whatnot every single day. Maybe on the weekends, on Sundays, they didn't do it sometimes, but it took a toll on me, on my sleep schedule. It was a lot of stress on my mental state and physical state, honestly, because when you don't get restful sleep, and I talk about health and wellness and the importance of sleep and taking care of yourself a lot on my channel, and I felt like I wasn't really able to do that, especially where I was living in La Villeta. But I do have to admit that there are certain areas like in Aldea Zama, maybe the center, and even parts of La Villeta. I would go to my friend's apartment to work often, and their Wi-Fi was pretty stable. So it really depends on where you're living, and to make sure that you do have Google fiber optics if you are going to be needing a good connection. And you might have to pay a little bit extra for that, but I think it is worth it if you are planning on staying in Tulum for a long time. Another thing on practicality is if you're thinking about going to Tulum and being by the beach, there is an area, and it's called Tulum Beach, where the beach is, but a lot of people don't stay in that area. It's not very feasible unless you're staying at one of the bigger hotels. It is more expensive, and the road on the beach is not the best. It is a dirt road with a lot of potholes, as are most of the roads in Tulum, FYI. Very difficult to get around. Taxis and driving there and everything, it's just kind of a hassle. It's hard to get around, and the beach isn't that close, so it's like, yeah, I get off work at around 5 and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go to the beach. But getting to the beach is about a 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on traffic. And traffic can get bad because the beach road wasn't meant for cars to be driving on it. It wasn't meant to be a highway, and it turned into a highway with lots of taxis, lots of cars, lots of potholes. Cannot stress how many potholes. Yeah, I wasn't able to go to the beach every day because of work and being busy and just how far it was. So that's another issue that I had. If you are like hoping to be going to the beach every day, the beach is absolutely beautiful, incredible. It's such a nice beach. But another thing about that is that there's a public side of the beach, which you've seen in a lot of my vlogs, where Mezzanine is and other parts. And then there's the hotel zone, which they are private beaches. You have to either be a guest at the hotel or a customer buying something like a drink or food or whatever to access that beach. It is getting pretty privatized, which I'm not really a fan of, but that's another point that I'm gonna head into later. But practicality of getting around is kind of difficult. The third point I want to make about practicality is hurricane season. I was there during hurricane season, and I think it's over now, but apparently it's kind of cold according to my friends that are still there right now. I had to deal with so many hurricanes and storms, which caused my power to go out, my Wi-Fi to disconnect. It was a chaotic mess with work. That was a huge part and big reason why I wouldn't move back, because dealing with hurricanes, as scary as it is, but then when you are working from abroad for a company in the US and you have to be on Zoom 24/7, it's not really the best thing. So another thing is that I want to bring to attention, or to people's attention, is that the severity and the amount of hurricanes that are taking place in the Caribbean and even in the US every year they're getting worse, and the number is going up because of global warming and climate change. This is not normal. This year we held the record for the most named hurricanes ever. That's terrifying. So think about that. Think about how you're living, what you're doing to the environment, how you're traveling. I know I talk about sustainable travel a lot, and that is a reason why I went to Tulum for a few months, because I like to travel long term rather than short weekend trips, because it is more sustainable and you do get to really learn more about the city, town, or the area, region that you're in. That way you can be more conscious and responsible in how you're living and how you're going about your day in that place, so you can take care of the environment and also the local culture and people a bit more. So keep that in mind. And another reason, and this is kind of an overarching theme, and I might make a separate video on this as well. And I also don't want this video to be controversial, because I know there are many people, and I have an enormous amount of friends that are living in Tulum full time that I met there. I'm not against living in Tulum or anything, but personally for me, this is how I feel and why I wouldn't do it. But this is a really important topic to me, especially coming from my background in international relations and culture, media, and the arts is what my focus was on, and studying this and then seeing it in real life and knowing what the repercussions are of Tulum and what it's become. So Tulum is a huge hotspot right now. We all know that. We've all been hearing about Tulum, knowing that all these people are moving there and going there for vacations and whatnot. Tulum was a very small town. It was not a city that was made to hold and support all of these people and this amount of traffic going in and out. That's why we're seeing a lot of potholes, these dirt roads, the lack of infrastructure, the bad Wi-Fi, because basically what's happened is there's been this huge influx of tourism and people and all of these opportunities for growth in more recent years, probably in the past 5 to 10 years, but more recently in the past 5 years, I think Tulum really blew up. But the problem with that is that the people and the culture are working overtime to support these tourists and people that are foreign. But this is a really big opportunity for the people in Tulum and the locals to improve their standard of living, their lifestyle, the infrastructure and all of that. But the construction's taking place at a very fast rate, and all these people coming in are kind of pushing what they want onto the local culture in a way. And there's a term for it, and there's a lot of information, and I'm actually gonna leave some articles on what this is down below so you can check those out. And I can also make a separate video on this topic because it is pretty deep and intricate. What's happening in Tulum is very complicated, and I don't want it to be on my conscience that I was a huge part of it. I love Tulum, and of course in these beautiful places, people want to move there, people want to make it their home, but it was other people's home before you made it your home. Not that it's wrong, like you could do it in a very responsible way. I know people who have, like Andy, my friend, if you watch my Temescal video, he moved to Tulum about 10 years ago, but he is living there and has his area and everything, but he's not really forcing anything different. And I've seen that happen with many people where they're not really taking advantage of the area that they're in. They are living in unison with it and in a sustainable way. So it is possible, but I think if you're going there and you're just moving there to take advantage because it is super cheap and this and that, and I know I'm guilty in some ways of going there, and I went out and I did all of these things, partied, whatever, but I noticed that I was doing that and I don't want to be a part of that long term. So it's just something on my conscience that I wouldn't want to bring forward with me into the future. I was actually going to interview one of my good friends over there who was born and raised in Tulum. His family is from Tulum for generations, and I wanted to ask him about what it was like before all the tourism came, what their lifestyle was like, how their standard of living was, and what Tulum looked like. But unfortunately, because I was so busy with work and all the issues I was having, which you've probably seen in all my vlogs, I didn't get a chance to. But maybe if I go back for a little while, because I do want to go back. I don't want to never return to Tulum. There's so much. Tulum honestly has a part of my heart, and I feel like I have a part of Tulum with me now because so many of my friends are there and just the experiences I had, and I'd love to go back and shed light more on this issue that I'm talking about. And if you want a separate video on me talking about how this affects and tourism affects local cultures, because we've seen it happen in Cancun, then Playa del Carmen, Tulum, in Benidorm. I lived in Benidorm for a year, and that is a perfect example of how tourism can really change a local culture long term. And also, when Tulum isn't the hotspot anymore, where are people gonna go? What is gonna happen to Tulum? What's gonna happen to the locals? What's gonna happen to the culture that existed before tourism came into Tulum? So that is the concern that I have. What happens after? So think about that, some food for thought. If you've been to Tulum, if you're planning on going to Tulum, I hope this gave you some more insight onto what it's like from a raw, real standpoint. My vlogs kind of show certain things and just the chaos that I was going through when I was there. Obviously, it was quite a lot. It was a great time as well, and a great growing and learning experience living in Mexico. I've been back now for a few weeks. It's crazy, time's going by so fast. I'm working on getting myself back together, getting back into my routine. I got my hair cut, I got my nails done finally, and I'm just trying to take care of myself again, because when I was there between work, YouTube, and then just trying to create as much content and do things and make friends and whatever, I didn't have time to take care of myself, and I was feeling pretty run down and burnt out. So being back home is nice. I can't wait to make more videos like this for you guys, and I can monetize. I'm actually monetizing my YouTube channel now, which is super exciting. I filmed a video on that. It should either be up already or will be up soon. If you have questions on that and growing my YouTube channel and everything, because things kind of started taking off a bit more this year, still not the most fast growth. I can't speak either. Not the fastest growth that could happen, but things are happening and it feels so good because I've been doing YouTube for years. It's been 2 solid years of really committing, but it's been about 4 or 5 years that I've been kind of working on this. So thank you so much for sticking out through this whole video, watching it, sharing it, spreading the love, subscribing, hitting the bell, giving it a thumbs up, and following me on Instagram. Go do all those things. If you have any questions, remember in the comments they go. Book a time with me on my Calendly. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.